Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, commercial banks could be sued for their handling of bonds. We hear from Dean of the UPSA School of Law, Professor Kofi Abotsi, as Coalition of Individual Bondholders prepares to picket the Ministry of Finance next week.
Kinds of things they made you believe in, which is why you assumed the risk involved in purchasing the bonds. These banks obviously are liable for certain representations they made in the process or in the course of selling these.
Ahead of the mid-year budget presentation, SMEs call for policies to cushion the sector.
If we want to really support our ecosystem, support our SMEs to scale up, then let's do targeted support. I don't mind if you pick 5 young entrepreneurs in Ghana, grow their business, let them scale up, even if they can't raise to the unicorn level, but then they're able to make impact, and these people can expand and employ.
And government cancels the Fertilizer Subsidy program, replaces it with a guarantee system. We'll get reaction from the Chamber of Fertilizer. Thanks for joining us, everyone. My name is Daryl. Kwawu. Details coming up. And first up, the Coalition of Individual Bondholders is set to picket the Finance Ministry next week to demand payment of outstanding principals and coupons. The coalition is also seeking immediate implementation of the agreement reached and captured in an MOU in May this year and signed with the Ministry of Finance on behalf of government on all payment of bonds due. Government has taken most of the flak for the domestic debt exchange program. However, Dean of the UPSA School of Law, Professor Kofi Abotsi, says banks could be liable too for certain representations made in the process of selling bonds.
Government may perhaps, and I'm just playing devil's advocate for government, government may perhaps have an argument in the fact that there's been a frustration of the contract as a result of unseen circumstances. The fact of the debt exchange, or rather not the debt exchange, the fact of the debt burden, which has resulted in this a conditionality that may have been imposed by external donor agencies, in respect of which government has little to zero influence, in the absence of which perhaps the entire country is going to come crumbling. You know, that could be an argument. I'm just saying, in theory, there could be an argument of unforeseen circumstances that have resulted in the frustration of the contract, and by reason of which government's action is or may be justified. But yes, it's imperative. I think ultimately these were done within a certain legal framework. Ultimately, it seems in the beginning there was some bullishness in the relationship, but it seems ultimately there was some mutuality, even though I think there still are some ongoing disagreement and frustrations about the process. But yes, if you go through the principles of contract, fundamentally, a person who is a party to a contract will respect that contract, and if the party wants a renegotiation of the contract, that renegotiation will have to be done mutually. And I think that largely explained the tensions that we saw characterized.
As a businessman, can I take on my commercial bank? Because that contract was between me and my commercial bank, not even government.
Absolutely. About
this challenge and what is brought to me as an individual and as a business.
Absolutely. Commercial banks have been the luckiest. Can
I take on the commercial bank?
Well, I'm not advising to go see your bank, but all I'm telling you is that the commercial banks have been the luckiest in all these DD ongoing. The reason is because commercial banks are actually the ones who sold the bonds. And they come to your office and they literally advertise the bonds, and they will argue for it, and they will convince you. Commercial banks were not passive medium through which these bonds were bought. They were active sellers, quote unquote. And as active sellers, the kinds of promises and the kinds of things they made you believe in, which is why you assumed the risk involved in purchasing the bonds. These banks obviously are liable for certain representations they made in the process or in the course of selling these bonds. And that's why I'm saying they're luckiest, because frankly they're the ones with very little attention. Nobody seems to be talking about them. But yes, I mean, I'll leave it at that.
I mean, because some have said that, I mean, if I think I have a challenge as a person, as an individual, as a business, locked up all these things, I could take on the bank.
Indeed.
Cocoa bills and all the rest. I mean, and what even Bank of Ghana has come to say that they were not supposed to have sold these bills to individuals.
Not only did they sell them, they sold them with conviction. And when you sell things with conviction, when you tell customers, buy this is highly beneficial, this has a high return, this yields very well, the likelihood of a risk or failure to pay is close to zero. You know, they sold all these things, and so they were agents with liability by reason of the sheer investment of interest that they had in you purchasing them. And so, in my estimation, yes, I think commercial banks may have some liability.
Meanwhile, Professor Abotsi is calling for steps to be taken to review some of Ghana's tax policies. He says the current tax regime could force many businesses to adopt strategies to avoid paying taxes.
I think as a country, we need to really incentivize productivity. Because the thing about companies in countries where they have tax difficulties, the thing about companies is that they go into safe modes. And the safe modes, one of the easy safe modes is to reduce the extent to which companies spend. And if companies are going to minimize the extent to which they spend, they're going to undertake a number of rational choices that often impact negatively on, beneficiaries, quote unquote. And this could include employees, this could include the larger public in terms of whatever their product line is, among others. They will consolidate and avoid spending. And that also has a cataclysmic effect overall on the entire economy. So the entire dynamic can be complicated. And that's why I think that it may be helpful if we look again at the overall arrangement of the tax avoidance, tax evasion thing you mentioned, but the overall arrangement about that.
Now, some small and medium businesses have called on government to introduce policies which will cushion the SME sector ahead of the 2023 media budget scheduled for Parliament this month. According to the businesses, reduction in taxes, the facilitation of cheaper finance options, and deepened collaborations will be needed to grow the sector. Here's more in this report.
Ghana's SME sector contributes up to 60% of the country's GDP and employs over 80% of the workforce. Unfortunately, high taxes and interest rates are a few of the challenges facing the sector. Speaking on Joy Business Social, a weekly podcast which airs every Thursday, some of these businesses outline their expectations ahead of the 2023 mid-year budget review. Chief Executive Officer of Kent Investment, Richard Addison, bemoaned high taxes and expensive cost of capital as a huge challenge facing the sector.
So we need to be smart about collecting our taxes, but not increasing taxes. At the end of the day, I'm an SME, 15% VAT. I mean, all these taxes. How much am I going to charge for my product? Who's going to afford it? Mind you, the person who is actually sending things into Ghana is getting 0 to 5% interest on loans they are producing in their country. Now, I am paying, 25% to 30%. So I am at a disadvantage already. But you want to create entrepreneurs and businessmen in Ghana. How do you do that?
CEO of the Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs, Sherif Gali, called for specific and targeted support which will ensure the upscaling of the SME sector.
Let's not do the sporadic way of supporting. 10,000 come, there's this 1 million, then 1 million Ghana cedi, you give it to 2 million SMEs. I'm just giving an example. That means there is little to no impact. So if we want to really support our ecosystem, support our SMEs to scale up, then let's do targeted support. I don't mind if you pick 5 young entrepreneurs in Ghana, grow their business, let them scale up, even if they can't raise to the unicorn level, but then they're able to make impact. And these people can expand and employ. Then the next time you are coming, you target another 5. This is the right and systematic way to support an ecosystem.
On the need to boost Ghana's participation in the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, managing partner of She's Partners LLC, Sena Jisa, called on government to double its efforts on empowering SMEs to compete on the African market.
GEPA deserves huge commendation for all of the strategies with its national export development strategy that is currently running and all of the other initiatives, right? We on the ground as entrepreneurs, there are lots of entrepreneurs. Of course, things have been done, right? We couldn't have waited. That is fine. But why are we not now positioning ourselves? Why are we not quickening up the steps to ensure that we are ready and we are getting positioned? At the moment, if you talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, if you ask a lot of businesses, there are lots of people who can't be bothered about AFCFTA. Put aside can't be bothered, there are lots of people who do not know. Is there an information center? What is the intentionality to build awareness? What is the intentionality to build sensitization?
With the SME sector forming over 90% of business enterprises in Ghana, there is no doubt about its potential to drive growth. Unfortunately, many businesses await the enabling ecosystem promised by government to boost growth.
Now, the German ambassador to Ghana, Daryl, Kwawu, has reiterated his country's support towards helping Ghana fast-track economic recovery. According to him, Ghana securing a $3 billion IMF bailout will help bring our debt to a sustainable level. He was speaking at the GIZ Widow Entrepreneurs Awards.
The WeDo project provided Ghanaian diasporans with the opportunity to support entrepreneurs to scale up and create more job opportunities. The entrepreneurs were awarded in areas such as agribusiness, technology, and sustainability. Delivering his remarks, German ambassador to Ghana, Daryl Kwawu, said they are committed to helping Ghana reach a sustainable debt service level.
Germany, and I stress this, is supporting Ghana in this endeavor, not only in good times but also in difficult times like the times we are living through. And Germany is the second largest bilateral creditor to Ghana, and we are ready to live up to our responsibility and to help to facilitate that Ghana can reach a sustainable debt service level. We do this, and I communicated that over and over again under certain conditions. So we do this in the international framework that is provided for these kinds of cases. We do this with all creditors on board. And we have come a very long way, and we are very happy that we now have this creditors committee who is dealing with Ghana on these conditions. And of course, we also do this when we expect that Ghana is living up to its commitments they gave to the IMF before the IMF agreed to support Ghana with the $3 billion package.
Country Director of GIZ Ghana, Regina Barbosa, said the beneficiaries of the WeDo project have created and secured about 2,100 jobs so far.
The initiative uses diaspora remittances. I have already said that these funds account for about 6% of Ghana's gross domestic product, and they are the largest source of foreign exchange, providing crucial support to Ghana's balance of payments and surpassing official development assistance and tourism receipts. Remittances from the diaspora create jobs and thus promote economic growth. The results and successes of the WeDo project are remarkable. To date, 950 businesses across Ghana have benefited from financial support, tailored business coaching and networking. 1.35 million euro of private investment has been made, and 1.35 million euro of direct grants have been dispersed to businesses. So this combination of financial support combined with business coaching has enabled the entrepreneurs to turn their ideas into reality. As a direct result, they have created and secured about 2,100 jobs so far.
15 entrepreneurs were awarded with cash prizes ranging between 5,000 and 15,000 Ghana cedis, respectively.
Now, the Minister of Food and Agriculture, Brian Achampong, has said that the government has cancelled subsidy intervention on fertilizer for farmers effective April 2023. According to Mr. Achampong, even though the subsidy cost the nation 3 billion cedis in the last 6 years, it did not achieve its intended purpose due to corruption. He added in an interview this week that government will now introduce a guarantor system going forward. Let's speak with the Chief Executive of the Chamber of Fertilizer Ghana, Prince Adepa, who joins us on Zoom. Good afternoon to you. So initially we're told the fertilizer subsidy had been suspended. Now we hear it has been cancelled. How do you react to this news?
Thank you, Daryl. We cannot say we actually are happy at this moment, since there are many questions begging for answers. And so, we again would just be a bit patient to know when and how we are going to get the details of how this enhanced PFJ or the guarantor system, as it's been tagged, will actually be run. And so just then now understand the value chain, the actors in the value chain and all that, to be able to understand and appreciate that this is something that will work and help the agriculture industry generally, and also for our businesses.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if I was clear on your response to this. And so basically, how do you feel about this? If you could just tell us once again.
Mixed feelings.
Okay.
Not happy, to say the least, for now, because we don't have full details. So until we have details to be sure, the process is really an enhanced one compared to what previously was being run. And so then we can then assess to see whether it really brings us a fair playing field. Whether the field actually is going to be a fair playing field for our businesses to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
So we cannot be we cannot be hasty now and then conclude that we're happy about a program that we are yet to have full details.
All right, and you pointed out, you mentioned the guarantor system, which we understand government will guarantee supply of fertilizers for farmers to repay after harvest. We do not know so much about it, but this is just an idea we have of how it will work. And like you point out, you're going to be seeking some more information as to how government intends to roll this out and how it will be beneficial to you. But you generally consider this to be a good move, that, the government will guarantee supply and then farmers would have to repay after harvest?
Daryl, this is not, let's say, a novel program in the sense of it being a guarantee system, because to tell you, a lot of the private sector currently are engaged in guaranteeing for agro schemes or groups, nucleus farmers and aggregators, who are already guaranteeing for inputs, and they buy back. So it is not so different from what they are proposing. Now, the real issue is, if government is cancelling subsidy, then how are we moving forward? If you say a guarantor system, this system is already playing out on the field now, with a lot of the foreign donor agencies, supporting our own farmers to do same. Okay. Now the other question is, how are we really getting to understand, or maybe how different is this new enhanced one, as it's been termed, is going to be? Mind you, we've experimented this in the past, which was the blockchain system, when we actually, had groups getting inputs with government support, after which they pay back, and that program was not successful, to say the least.
Does the chamber? Yeah. I was going to ask if the chamber has any suggestions for the government as to how to handle these issues to do with fertilizer. Obviously, you're raising questions about the guarantor system, which you say is nothing new.
Yeah, it's really nothing new. So you see, in the first place, government is not subsidizing. So ideally, the market should be liberalized, okay, for the forces of demand and supply to play out. Now, beyond that, if government really wants to support the farmers, the intention should be to reduce the cost, the inputs to these farmers ultimately. Because mind you, as it is now, farmers have managed to already be, cultivating their fields. Now, if government wants to really help, it should be from the port of entry. Where charges and levies are so much, on these inputs, and therefore, the cascading effect comes to play. So really, it should be looked at from such angles, so that on the market, the farmer will have the liberty. I mean, it should be affordable one, and the farmer will have the liberty to be able to decide which product they should really go for. And this is going to also enhance the issue of quality, or push importers to be competitive in terms of what they bring to the market. So really, I mean, anytime government intervenes in some of these programs, and with some of these programs, it distorts a lot of things. And so when it is not clear as to what role really government is playing, because at this point, the government is only saying they're going to guarantee. We would, prefer that if government really reduces the cost of charges and the rest, which eventually will bring down the cost of these inputs, especially for fertilizer, then they can now, with their guarantee system, look for aggregators, select aggregators that will go and buy the end product. Now, if there's any fund at all that they wouldn't want to push into subsidy, then it should probably be redirected into the areas of irrigation and the rest of mechanization. That will help farmers to be very effective and efficient on the field. So that at the end of the day, because government's intention is to ensure there's enough food, and maybe the excess also by the buffer stock and the rest, then they can find a way to get the guarantee for other players or actors in the chain to go and buy this. And mind you, that would mean they'll be buying at the market prices, which will help the farmers to be able to get make profit.
All right, just 30 seconds if you can. Any news on the debt-owed fertilizer suppliers? Is there any progress as to the government paying back the monies owed fertilizer suppliers?
I'm sorry, the position hasn't changed since the last time I spoke to JoyNews. Yeah, we're still looking forward to payments.
All right, we're looking forward to the best. Thank you so much. Prince Adepa is Chief Executive of the Chamber of Fertilizer Ghana. I appreciate your time with us. Well, we are headed next for the Achimota Retail Center, where the first clinic of the EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair is underway. It's brought together several experts in the housing market, and patrons are also hundreds of them expected to be there over this weekend to look up some of the products and the discounts available. I want us to link up next with my colleague Pius Kojo Baka, who I'm told will be on in just a few minutes. But producer of plastic pipe systems, Interplast Ghana Limited, says the company gained 50% visibility after participating in last year's fair. Take a listen to this report.
The EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair is the biggest housing and construction exhibition in the country. Since its inception, Interplast Ghana has been associated with the event. Head of Marketing and Communications at Interplast Ghana, Elizabeth Owusu, recounting the impact of the event on the company, indicated that the event has had significant influence on the business.
Participating in the Habitat Fair last year, we had brand visibility increase for almost 50%. For us, the fair gives us the opportunity to express ourselves through their various platforms. We get the opportunity to be on TV throughout the fair. We had interviews with their various stations within Accra, Kumasi. They were all present at the fair. And I would tell you, it's very expensive to go directly to any of these stations to advertise yourself, but all these platforms were given to us during the fair, and it meant a lot to us, because with this just being in Accra, we still got to advertise ourselves all over the country.
All right, we can now link up with Pius Kojo Baka, who is at the Achimota Retail Center for us. Pius, how are things shaping up? we can see Pius, but we can't hear him. We're trying to fix that for you. But if you are anywhere close to the Achimota Retail Center, where you can go right now is that venue, because the EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair is underway. Like I pointed out, there are hundreds of exhibitors in the housing market there to showcase their products, and they are offering amazing discounts over there. And so try and be there. It's happening from now till Sunday. That's the first clinic. There'll be subsequent ones until the main event in the next couple of months. So it's the Achimota Retail Center. That's where you need to be for the EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair. It's an annual event we put together to address issues within the housing sector. As you know, we have a housing deficit of 2 million units. How do we fix that? We can go now to my colleague Pius. Hopefully we can hear you. Pius, how are things taking shape over there?
Mall where exhibitors have showcased their products. First off, let me quickly jump to Green Opal Properties to tell us what they have for us. Pleasure you could join me, sir, on the marketplace. Tell me, what is Green Opal all about and what are you looking forward to?
Oh, okay, Green Opal is all about building homes, beautiful homes, elegant homes, luxurious homes for the general public and the people in the diaspora. Currently, we are doing 3, 4, and 5 bedroom houses. And our main area of development is with the Adenta Aviation Enclaves. Yes.
So what are you looking forward to at the end of the first day?
Okay, at the end of the fair, we are looking for that one will be open to the public. The public will get to know us more. And then at the end of the day, we'll be able to close deals as well. Yes, that's what we are looking forward to.
All right. So, Daryl, let's move on to the next exhibitor to tell us what they are looking forward to, and still hoping that, you know, patrons will come around and, of course, buy their products. And they are looking forward to prospective buyers to patronize their wares. Hello, madam. Good to have you, and thanks for joining us on the marketplace. GH Housing Limited. Okay, tell me more about it.
Okay, so we are GHS Housing Limited. We are located at Kuntinse Satellite Junction off the Amasamai Road. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 bedroom houses. We have expandable ones and non-expandable ones. We also have introduced our service plot currently that we are selling. We sell them in we have 56 by 64, we have 77 by 74, and then we have 70 by 100. All at Kuntunse. That is where the properties are.
And so how has it been for you?
So far, we just keep.
All right, GHS Housing, speaking to Pius there. Head to the Achimota Mall if you can. But all the news you need over this weekend, you can read more of them. myjoyonline.com/business. MTN Group Board Chair Bawumia emphasized the need for strategic partnership for progress and investments in Ghana. Read more about that at myjoyonline.com/business. Enjoy your weekend.